The last time when I filmed this river, I told you it's a clean river with a sad history, but I didn't have much story to tell you about the river.
See the big river next to me, and the bridge you're seeing there is the bridge of no return. The story behind that bridge is something very sad, and at the same time, it is something that we don't want to happen ever again.
And today, I'm back to tell you the story about this river, but this time around I have a better story to tell you.
I'm not even a slave, but few minutes I spent inside this place, I feel like I was dying.
A few months ago, I traveled to Badagry, Lagos, where I explored the Nigerian Slave History Museum, and when I went to this place, I found a story in the museum about Igbo slaves who committed mass suicide in the Atlantic Ocean. And when I saw this story, it brought me back to this river.
Inside the ship, they all speak language to themselves.
Yeah.
Like, instead of us embarking on this journey, why not commit a suicide? Because we don't even know what will happen to us in that place. So they all committed a mass suicide by jumping into the Atlantic Ocean and died here.
Here is the story. Some slaves who are from the southeastern part of Nigeria, or you can say the Igbos, who are bought by the British, decided to commit mass suicide in 1803. And reason is because they didn't want to go and become a slave in the New World. They were able to carry out this operation because they were speaking their local languages while they were in the ship. They decided to jump into the Atlantic Ocean and committed a mass suicide. This tragic event was a very huge loss for the British, who has paid for these slaves. But this is one of the most courageous stories you will hear in Nigerian slave trade history. When I heard this story, my mind reflected back to where it might have all begun. The bridge of no return, Ikora Abase. Most of the slaves from the southeastern part of Nigeria that were bought around that time were transported through this bridge. And this bridge is called the bridge of no return for a reason.
The reason why this place is called the bridge of no return is once a slave step on it, that is the last time they will look back. They will never look back, and they will never see their hometown again till they get to the New World. That is what it was called. But this New World is a world of suffering.
This bridge of no return is a floating jetty built in 1795 by the Europeans for the purpose of conveying slaves into waiting ships. This bridge has 3 major underground holding compartments which were used in storing very stubborn slaves. These underground compartments were built to store the maximum of at least 30 people, but at any given time, over 150 people were stored in each of these compartments, making it 450 people stored at any given time in this compartment, whereby it was built to contain 90 people as maximum at any given time.
These 3 rooms you see here was actually built to contain 30 people. But what you're seeing is each of them contains 50 people at any given time, 50 slaves. So there are 3 in each compartment, which is 150 slaves. And there are 3 compartments, which is 150 times 3. That is 450 slaves at any given time. Now take a look at a place where 50 people were sitting. Imagine. And there is no way. This is the only source of ventilation. This is the only source of ventilation. This thing is lying on top of salt water, and it's still like this. Nothing can destroy this thing. Even in 1,000 years to come, this thing will remain like this. But imagine the kind of suffer the whole people that are inside this place were suffering. Imagine 50 people inside here.
I wanted to know what it feels like inside this compartment where the very stubborn slaves were stored. I entered inside. I was only there for 10 minutes and I couldn't stand it.
I'm not even a slave, but few minutes I spent inside this place, I feel like I was dying. And imagine 50 people inside there, 50 people inside there, and another 50 people inside there. The same thing goes to this place. 50 people here, 50 people in the middle. Just imagine how these people suffered right here. There is something interesting. A basketball coach in America named Ime Udoka have traced back his ancestry to this place, and he is actually from Ikora Abase, which is the people who were taken from this place. Ime Udoka. You can search about it and find out. So he is actually from this Ikora Abase.
While I was coming out from this slave compartment, the only thing that was going through my head is, who would not be suicidal if they were made to go through this barbaric situation? Hundreds of years have crossed, and the only thing we can do is to imagine what these people went through. We can never really feel exactly how they felt, so it is understandable that these people were suicidal and they decided to end it all in the Atlantic Ocean instead of going to the New World, which they never knew what they would expect.
What you're seeing here like many places, many slave trade museums you will go, you will see things like this. This is actually used to write names on slave. You know, when during the slave time, slaves doesn't have name. Any slave you see is bearing either the name of the owner or the name the owner wants it to bear. So when somebody buys a slave, they use this thing to write the name of the owner of the slave on their skin, and that will be their name forever. That's why you see people who are from Africa that are in America and their name are Brown, White, Dixon. All those names are the names of the slave owners that was written on their skin using this thing. And this is one of the chains that was used during the slave trade over 400 years ago, and the chain is still here and it have rusted. That is why you see it at this size. But these things can actually be on the neck or on the leg or on the hands of the slave for how many months during their travel from the Atlantic Ocean to wherever destination they are going to. These are all the things slaves suffered, and this Ikot Abasi was one of the places, a very prominent place during the slave trade, and most of the slaves from the eastern Nigeria was taken from this bridge of no return.
Glory be to God that today we are able to go to the top of this bridge, even enter the prison, and we return, and that is because we are free, and we are free indeed. I want to use this opportunity to tell you about Akwa Ibom. Akwa Ibom is a state in South Nigeria with a lot of tourist destinations that not many people know about. Only Ikot Abasi has a lot of things to show you, like the First British Bank of Nigeria, which I have made a video about. If you want to watch the video, please check few videos I posted before this one. In this same Ikot Abasi, we have the Amalgamation House 1914, which is where the country Nigeria was amalgamated over 100 years ago. In this Ikot Abasi, we have the Lord Lugard House, which was the first colonial president of Nigeria. In this same Ikot Abasi, we have the Women War Memorial, which I will make a special video telling you about the history. This is just Ikot Abasi, but that's not the only thing you will find in Akwa Ibom State. There is Ibono Beach, which is the longest sand beach in the whole West Africa. They also have the Ibom Icon Hotel and Golf Resort, which is the biggest golf course in the whole West Africa. Like I say, there is a lot to see and learn in Akwa Ibom, just that it's not being advertised. No much people is showing this place to the world. Akwa Ibom has a very big tourism potential. Did I even forget to tell you, Ikot Abasi is the home to the first Nigerian person to rule Uganda, Saudo Udoma. That will be story for another day. But let me make it clear to you, Akwa Ibom State do not know that I'm making this video. With that being said, nobody is paying me to do this, but if you wish to pay me, I like money, but just by watching this video, you are already supporting me. You can share this video with your friends and like the video. If you like it, it is possible that YouTube will show it to more people. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy the video, please give it a like, and if you want to watch more videos like this, click the red subscribe button in front of your screen and turn on the bell notification so that you'll be the first person to know when I post my next story. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.